everybody, my name is iWafflez, and tonight I'm going to be looking at the Medicos JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Super Action Statue line, Joestar. Now, this is a show I've gotten into pretty good. I mean, I've watched all 5 parts, and this Joestar is from part 2, which is the part he stars in, or is the character's main focus. As you can see, there he is. It's not the anime colors, unfortunately. That one is a WonderFest exclusive, and I'm not hashing out $400+ to get the anime variant, but uh, it's a really nice packaging. They basically all of them have the same style, except they're in different colors for the Harley Quinn pattern, and then they have all the same poses essentially. But what it really just shows you everything in the box. You get 2 heads, a JoJo stand, and then every accessory, which we'll take a look at, and then same picture of Joseph on the side, and then he comes in this open window, which you basically see everything except for the variant heads and then the hands down there. But yeah, that's pretty much it. The box is pretty boring without a figure in it, so let's actually take a look at the figure. And to look at accessories, what I have on Joseph right now is the head he comes in with the package, which is his just neutral face, and then I put on the splayed out hands. There's no relaxing hands in this, which I'm fine with because he never really is relaxed in the series when all this is happening, but I really like the hands. I mean, for the most part, they're alright, but I'll show you on the other hands that sometimes the paint quality kind of dips. Alright, let's look at the hands that actually have matching pairs, which are the karate chop / posing hands, because these are used for poses quite a lot. Really nice paint. They are a lighter blue than the actual part of the glove, but I'm fine with that because, you know, shading. And all the brass studs are painted really nice. I really like those. Let's see. And then we have the crossbow holding hands. This is for his right hand. This is for his left, I believe. Or I might have that backwards, but the trigger fingers to hold the crossbow, which it will fit in like so. And it's a really tight fit, and it won't even hold in all the way. And that's also another one of the accessories, is the crossbow, but the main problem with this is that it's really hard to get him to hold the crossbow. Like, I can't even get him to hold it properly, and then this hand's just meant to, cradle it. And then that's that pair. And then he comes with a holding hand for the hammer, which the hammer is right here. Really nice detail. It has, I think the outside's made of steel, and then, it's held in with the wood grain bar, like a wood grain. Really nice detail on those. And then it has the hook, which is important to his fight with Wamu. And then that one, it just holds in his hand like that. It's not a bad grip. He doesn't get a corresponding hand for his other hand, but he does hold it with 2 hands at one point in the show. But and then the last accessory for one hand only is his pointing finger, which can also be used to hold his clacker volleys, or his clackers, which have J on one side right here. I can't that, and then on the other side it has the J, and then you can put it on these fingers, but it's a really tight fit, which you'll see in pictures. Is that I made it fit. It's just that it fits more comfortably on the pointing finger, which I mostly use for the your next line is. But and then of course, I don't think a lot of Medicos figures don't come without the fists, because you can't have an action figure without punches, and he is a fighting character. And then we'll get into, if I don't throw his clackers everywhere. And then here we get to the variant head, which is where he's wearing a headband, which is very essential to the story, which I will not spoil. But he is angry, and unfortunately they did miss the paint on the hair where the headband is. Kind of a bummer, but it's such a tiny figure. Couldn't imagine someone sitting there trying to paint that in correctly, but the hair is really nice. It has the blue wash to it. I can't tell if it's done in blue or if it has black. I think it's blue and then black wash. And then there's his head, his neutral head, really light, really nice. Of course, in the anime he has brown hair, but I'm fine with the blue. And then overall his aesthetic is blue, which is kind of weird. And so, yeah. Oh, and another accessory before I forget is you can replace the loaded crossbow with the unloaded with the ball. It actually fits in there pretty snugly, but and then they also have certain sides you can peg in, like this side. This is the only side you could peg it in with. There's a notch up top. Well, actually, it's a lot easier to show you with that. There's a notch that you can only be plugged in on this side, so you can't get them mixed up. I don't know why they have to be certain side, but I mean the crossbow's painted really nice. I'd probably won't pose in this way because it's really hard for him to hold anyway. And then of course the other part to make it look like it's unloaded, and that should be it for all the accessories unless you want to count the scarf. But I mean, it's not Joseph's Joestar without, well, the part 2 Joseph without his scarf. Really, he's not really seen in the later episodes of the part without his scarf. So I'm fine with this, and it's his final battle suit. So yeah, let's actually get a look at the detail and articulation of this figure. Oh, and I forgot one thing in the accessories, and that's the stand, which it's clear and it has JoJo's Bizarre Adventure in Japanese on it, and you can take these apart to add another stand, so you can have them group posed. So just wanted to add that before I forget. Sorry about that. So for the detail, he is really nice. I mean, the paint job is pretty good. I mean, mostly this company's mostly praised for the accuracy of the paint, but there's some issues I have with my figure. This is a left forearm. Well, this is a right forearm, but they, for some reason, it's because you could tell because they match right here, and then also the strap is matching, which is a bummer, but I mean, I'm fine with it for the most part. I'm not one of the people that, see an issue with it. It's just, I find it a little weird that that side has a cover for the elbow and this one doesn't, but I don't know if I'll get a replacement part for him, to be honest, because I mean, I'm fine with him like this. Makes it more collectible. But anyway, the skin tone has shading, which is really nice. Also the outfit. Does the scarf? It kind of does, yeah, but the paint smears on the scarf a little bit, which is eh. And then, of course, the hair, and then the scarf, you can unplug his head, and it's pegged in so it won't move around. And then I don't know if I did this or if it was in pack, like if it was happened at the factory that this was made, but there's a scratch on his neck, and I've tried, like, I don't know if it's like a paint, if the neck's molded in that color or not, but I mean, once the scarf's on, it's hard to notice that he has that, and then once you peg the head on, it's practically okay. I mean, yeah. And then, of course, shading on the jeans makes it look like it's stressed. It's really nice. And then the boots also have shading, but it's very subtle, just because due to the dark color of it. And then, with a really nice, I really like the details whenever companies do this, is when at the knee, you usually have a lighter spot on your knee because of you flexing your knee, and it's on both the kneecaps, which I think is really cool attention to detail. And yeah, so articulation with the scarf, his head can only move up that far, not very far, but he is a pretty tall figure, so, and that's my cat running between my legs. All right, but and he can look down pretty far though, so because of his hair. But he also has neck pivot, so you could get a lot of movement out of him. He is a very gestural figure, because Joseph Joestar is a very joking figure, and he has a butterfly joint that clicks in once, and it can go pretty far in. I mean, he can practically just clap his hands, but he can't fully extend out. But with the help of his hinged arms, he can. But it can hinge out twice, and then also, once again, that's paint rub. But I'm fine with that paint rub because that's my fault. And then he also has a swivel, a bicep swivel that's really tight, but it's due to the detail in the muscle. And then he has a double joint elbow, which are balls, which are the ball pegs, and which you can rotate, but I wouldn't suggest doing that much because that's a very thin connection between the balls right there. So he can get in all the way basically. So that's really nice. And then the hand, of course, most import figures have this as the the ball joint right there, where you can swivel it and then have it go up and down, all that. But be careful when you're interchanging these hands, because these hands are really stiff. So you could technically break this ball joint, which is not good, because it's a pretty hefty figure, like a pretty expensive figure. So yeah, be careful. The torso, he has an upper ball joint which can bend in really far actually, and then bend backwards really far. And to note, he also has a gap back here, but is pretty well covered behind the scarf. And then he has a ball joint which will allow him to bend a little bit more forward and way far back. So he can get bending pretty good. And then his legs, he has a ball joint right here. He can kick up just a flat 90, and then he can go back a lot actually. I don't see a lot of figures that can go back a lot. And then he has a thigh swivel, double jointed knees. Once again, there's a ball joint which you can swivel, and not down there. And there's no boot cut, but you really don't need the boot cut. And then he double jointed knee, of course, yeah. And then the ball joint at the foot, which can allow you to ankle pivot, which is really nice. It can go down pretty far and go up, not that much. But then there's a toe joint. But on this side, for me, I've heard that toe joints on these figures are not that great. They don't age very well. And this one's already gotten floppy on me. I mean, the slightest movement, he can't even hold his own weight anymore with that toe. But other than that, I mean, I really have no other complaints besides the forearm being, switched around. But yeah, other than that, I'm fine. So let's get to size comparisons, and then we'll get to the final verdict. So Joseph stands about 6.5 inches tall, which is a pretty tall figure, but Joseph and most of the Joestars are very tall people, so in a way it kind of makes sense. And then here he is compared to the Marvel Legends 80th Anniversary Hulk, which Hulk will obviously Hulk over him, just because he's a big green monster, which he towers a little bit more over him, which not bad scale. Then here he is with the SH Figure Arts Dragon Ball Z Goku, a Saiyan raised on Earth. Once again, pretty fair. I don't know actually how tall Goku is canonically, because I don't watch Dragon Ball Z, but I mean, he's a really nice figure. And then here he is with the Figma bootleg Izuku Midoriya, which I painted up a little bit better, but the paint's kind of chipping now. But yeah, he's a little bit smaller because he is a kid, but he's kind of oddly proportioned. But they're Goku and Deku and Joseph are all shonen buddies. And then here he is with the Marvel Legends 80th Anniversary variant. Is it GameStop exclusive, or is it I forget what version this is, but I found him at GameStop. It's the Cowboy Logan figure, if I can get him to stand up straight. But he's actually a little bit closer to the height of Joseph for some reason, but that's weird. And then, let's see, who else do I have? Oh, I have the Jazzwares 6-inch Fortnite Ace card, I think. Is it Ace or the Wild card? I forget what his skin's name is, but he scales pretty good. So he's a 1920 character. If you customize the head, it could work, but I don't know. Let's see, who else do I have? Let me get here. We'll get someone who is a god, since Joseph has faced a god before. We'll get the Marvel Legends 80th Anniversary Thor out, which is a pretty good figure. I really like this one. If you haven't seen the review on him and Iron Man and Captain America, go ahead and check it out. And of course, I kind of figured that Thor would tower over Joseph because this is a very tall figure. They have basically similar articulation schemes, though, with the diaphragm and all that. So, pretty interesting. But other than that, let's get to the final verdict. So, in conclusion, should you get this figure? I mean, yeah, he's a pretty good figure, even if you haven't seen the show. I mean, he has a pretty muscular build. He could be an average citizen if you customized him a little bit, but since I enjoy the show and he is my favorite JoJo, I really enjoy him. Maybe one day, whenever I win the lottery or something, I'll buy the anime variant color, but for now he will do, and I'm very happy with this purchase. And uh, if if you are a fan of the show, definitely try and pick this one up. I know he is getting a reissue, which I think this one's a reissue. I do not know. Of course, I bought it from AmiAmi, so I don't know if they. It didn't say reissue, so I'm assuming it's the reissue. But yeah, uh, it's a pretty good figure. I would recommend it if you like really articulated figures, because this is one of the more articulated Medicos figures, is from what I've heard. As the line's gone on, the articulation's kind of gone down, and but I'm interested in the line, so I will definitely collect more of the JoJos if they are cheap or if their reissues are coming up. So yeah, I will try and get more reviews out now that my work and college schedule has settled down a little bit more. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. Check out my previous review, which is the Colossus and Juggernaut 2-pack, which was about a month ago. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys later. Peace.